And here we go. Welcome back to episode 14, everyone, with your host, Brantt Myhres, from the sober recovery podcast called UnHammered. How many of you stayed unhammered the last 7 days? I can pronounce that I have. So I am, longer than 14 weeks sober, but for the show's purpose, I'm 14 weeks. And how many of you have been on this journey with me? It's been great getting messages. And speaking of that, when we talk about staying sober 1 week at a time, I know that might be daunting for some of you. There's people that write in and say, I'm just trying to grind through the day. And, I get it. I get the whole day at a time. And quite honestly, some people chop it down to like minutes or hours without taking a drug or taking a drink. And whatever's going to work for you. I just felt for myself that I had to set, remember I talked about last episode about working out, and that I knew I wouldn't work out every day, but I didn't think that I'd find an excuse not to work out the second day in a row. And that was sort of the same thing with my sobriety. I had to set lofty goals for myself and not really give myself any wiggle room. So, for me personally, it was a month. It was get that 30-day chip, and then work on your 60-day chip, Brantt. You are going to get 30 days, you need to stay sober a day at a time. But for you out there that are listening, what's been working for you, and that's why the theme of the show is, it's a weekly show. So I've had people that write in and say, hey, Brantt, I've been listening to every episode since it started, and I'm 14 weeks sober. And it's amazing. So yeah, what is your why? What is your why for why, or actually not even really a why. What is your, I guess it would be your way to grind through. Is it an hour at a time for you right now? Is a day sort of easy where you lay your head on at night on the pillow and you're sober another day? Anyways, hey guys, cheers to another week, 14, right on. Oh, that one's a little hot. Jesus, mic'd that one up a little bit too much. Oh well, whatever. I've drank worse. All right, let's get to some messages because we got some bangers today, everyone. We got some bangers. Hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you guys are doing great, man. This podcast is starting to pick up some steam, which, as I mentioned, my intention was one message from somebody, and I'm going to keep it rolling. We've got more than one. So this one is from a guy named Sean B. I don't like to say people's last names. Sean B. As we talked about hanging out in nightclubs last week. As to your hanging out in bars and nightclubs question on episode 13, I'm not a nightclub guy, but I'm in bars, clubs, concerts, venues, 200 nights a year. It's gotten easier with time, but even after having been off alcohol for 7.5 years, it's sometimes tough. I don't want to drink. And that I know that road all too well, but it's not without its challenges in my line of work. Yeah, Sean, no kidding. My line of work too, when I played hockey. You were out 200 nights a year. Yeah, about me too. And hanging around bars all the time. It's tough, man. It's tough, but you've went 7.5 years, my friend. Then he also said, what did he say here? I wanted to ask you about caffeine in your experience with treatment and sobriety. I'm not laughing, but I literally just took a sip of one. After I stopped drinking, I remained a daily and often heavy user of caffeine and marijuana, both of which I just quit before Christmas of 2023. I was overdoing it all too much and leaning on the caffeine as a stimulant. Caffeine. The doctors, when they would talk to me after, I think it was maybe stage 2 of the suspension, which was, what was that one? I don't know, whatever it was. Sorry, one more sip. I was chewing tobacco, and citrus skull's my favorite. Anyways, they said to me, Brantt, listen, here's the deal, man. Like, you know what? Chew your fucking face off. And you like coffee? I don't know, go get 10 shots of it. Because it sure beats fucking doing coke till 7 a.m. with 2 hookers. And then getting, dodging your piss tester and getting suspended and losing, $650,000. So if you gotta chew tobacco, chew tobacco. If you gotta have 3 or 4 coffees during the day, do it. Now, as I mentioned, I drank 35 Red Bulls in Las Vegas in 3 days. And I had a serious panic attack. I've never had one. And I called the ambulance. I thought I was fucking dying. And they said, no, you're just having a panic attack. And ever since that day, that's when I was 40 years old. So that was 10 years ago, everyone. And I've never had an energy drink ever again. It freaked me out. So Sean, I get it, man. If these stimulants are freaking you out and making you like edgy and nervous and all that, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't need to do it. Grab some Crystal Light. And how about let's give a congrats out to Cindy J. Okay. So incredibly happy for the podcast. I just celebrated my 20-year anniversary yesterday. Oh, wow. That's amazing, Cindy. Congratulations to you. And wow, like I said, 20 years, just try getting it. I used to hear people say all the time, oh, I got so many years. I'm like, yeah, you're lying. You don't want to have 10 years sober. Nobody can go 10 years without having some types of a substance to live on this planet. Liar. They weren't. They're telling the truth. They were just doing the work. And they got those years. So congrats, Cindy. Travis P. Hi, Brantt. I've been listening to your podcast when I was behind a bit. I listened to episodes 1 through 11, but I'm caught up now. Your podcast has been very inspirational to me. I'll bet I'm not sober. I am a social drinker and I do enjoy a night out. Now and again, I have changed my ways since listening to this podcast. Awesome, buddy. There was times I'd be showing up hungover to work multiple times a week. Since listening to your podcast, I put those habits aside and I haven't shown up to work hungover since listening. Looking forward to next week's episode. Travis, congrats to you, buddy. Isn't going to work the next morning or when that alarm would go off for me, and I'd have to do physical activity, okay? Like, I'd have to skate hard in practice for an hour. And then, you have coaches watching you that, think or know you should be sober. It was so stressful on me. And I don't miss that. I don't miss going to work feeling like shit. So good on you, Trav. Somebody wrote in, hey, Brantt, listening to your pod and you talked about Post Malone. Saw this come along a few weeks back. Apparently he went to rehab secretly and is 1 year sober now. Dude is proactive, but has some very good songs about addiction and sobriety. Yeah, I didn't know that. Obviously that's secretly. But I'll tell you what, if there's a movement, you guys, there's a sober movement in the world right now. And I've been doing a little research on this, and as you guys will see with the project that's coming up, there's a movement. There's a movement with non-alcoholic. Not everybody wants to get fuck their life up with booze, and you can do all these things sober, as you're going to see. What else do we got here? Yeah, that was a good one. Here we go. This is a pretty interesting one. Chad W. I can relate to avoiding the mirror in active addiction and being overweight. I'm 6 years sober and have been working out at the gym for 5 years. Love it! ! No kidding. Was 250 pounds now, or was 250 now 200. And I'm a tall guy like you, 6'4". Yep. Like I said, no pain, no gain. And you just got to get into action with things, and especially with your health and your physical, with your physical being. It's the only body you got that I know of. So take care of it. Take care of it in all aspects of your life. Don't just like not drink all day or not do drugs all day and then sit and eat 2 fucking pizzas and, you know, a big thing ice cream, and you know you're going to go to bed feeling like shit. And the more you feel like shit, the more you're going to, you know, unfortunately, at some point reach for something else. You just are. So take care of yourself, everyone. Okay, what else we got going on here? I'll tell you what I'm excited about. So, quickly, hey, have any of you seen a movie called Less Than Zero? Jesus. So I was on YouTube the other day, and there was this trailer or this scene of Robert Downey Jr. in the basketball court with his dad. Or no, sorry, it was his dad was playing tennis, and he came down and wanted help from his father because he was in the depths of his addiction. And I saw this as I'm watching this scene. It's only about 2 minutes long, maybe. You know what I instantly thought about? I said, what if that's Cain one day? You know, and I started to like tear up, because that was one of the most well done scenes from a child and a parent, where he's asking about, please just help me. You know, and I haven't seen the movie, but I'm trying to find it. If any of you have it, I'll borrow it off you, or I'll try and find it on. I can buy it on DVD, but. I really want to watch that movie. Man, oh man, that not many times. I watched it 3 times. It was that powerful. So RDJ, fuck man, wow. He's sober and rocking it, isn't he? He's got like, I don't know how many years now, over a decade, maybe 15. I'm not sure. He's been rocking it ever since, what was that movie? Iron Man, another great movie. Anyways. Okay, everyone. You guys ready to rock? Let's do this. So, you guys ready for step 2? I am. I'm ready for step 2. Considering I got on my knees this morning. Kaner did too, but he does that on his own will. Anyways, here we go. Step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about came to believe that a power greater than ourselves. What would that be? There's, you know, as we're going to read, you don't necessarily have to figure that out. It could be the group of NA or NA that you look at. You know, it could be a big bonsai tree. It could be the ocean. It could be the stars. It could be something that's probably stronger than you are, you know, and lean on that. But here's one. Here's what kept me out, you guys. Here's what kept me out for, how many years did it keep me out? 15? Could restore us to sanity. Huh? Sanity? Are you saying I'm insane? Is that what you're saying? I'm insane? Fuck you, I'm insane. I'm not in some nut house. Oh, but this is the nut house right up here, isn't it? That's the nut house that you're in, Brantt. So yeah, I needed to be restored to sanity because I was insane. And when you believe that you're actually insane and you need to be restored to sanity, you'll get this thing. You'll get it. Until not, you'll ride it out. You'll ride it out. You might not make her back. Okay, let's read. The moment they read step 2, most AA and NA newcomers are confronted with a dilemma. Yes, you are. Sometimes a serious one. How often have we heard them cry out, "Look what people have done to us!" ! You have convinced us that we are alcoholics and addicts and that our lives are unmanageable. Oh boy. Having reduced us to a state of absolute helplessness, you now declare that none but a higher power can remove our obsession. Yes, that's true. I believe so. I don't know how many there are, but it's just such a small percentage that can get through this thing without some, you know, not doing it your way and turning your will and your life over to something else, you know, that you can have some faith in. Sorry for all the sips I'm on. I love this step, so I'm just drinking coffee like a madman. There we go. Some of us won't believe in God. Others can't. And still others who do believe that God exists have no faith whatsoever that he will perform this miracle. They use the word miracle because it is a miracle. I hope you believe that. If you get sober, I'm a miracle today. You know what? And if you've stayed sober the last 24 hours, you're a miracle too. How about that? Yes, you are. Yes, you've got us over the barrel. All right. But where do we go from here? Question mark. Okay, well, let's look at the case of one who says he won't believe, the belligerent one. He or she is in a state of mind which can be described only as savage. Who wrote this thing? Incredible. His whole philosophy of life, in which he is so gloried, is threatened. It's bad enough, he thinks, to admit alcohol or drugs has him down for keeps. But now, still smarting from that obsession, he is faced with something really impossible. How does he cherish the thought that man, risen so majestically from a single cell in the primordial ooze, is the spearhead of evolution, and therefore the only God that this universe knows? Exclamation mark. Must he renounce all this to save himself? Question mark. Yeah, I believe so, in my experience, man. But listen, there's fucking 9 billion people on the planet, isn't there? 8.5. So things work differently for different people. So this is just my experience for Brantt Myhres and my experience through 25 years of the program. Thousands of meetings. This is just my experience. At this juncture, his AA or NA sponsor usually laughs. This, the newcomer thinks, is just about the last straw. This is the beginning of the end. And so it is, the beginning of the end of his old life and the beginning of his emergence into a new one. It's like you're a butterfly, right? Cocoon. His sponsor probably says, take it easy. The hoop you have to jump through is a lot wider than you think. You know what, you guys, it's true. It really is. Like your whole world, like you're overwhelmed when you first get sober, or even if you're struggling in sobriety, you know, and as they say, keep it simple, stupid. And it's true. So it's not as daunting. It's not as daunting as you think. The hoop's a little bit wider. At least I found it so. So did a friend of mine who was a one-time vice president of the American Atheist Society. But he got through with room to spare. Well, the newcomer says, I know you're telling me the truth. It's no doubt a fact that AA or NA is full of people who once believed as I do. But just how in these circumstances does a fellow take it easy? That's what I want to know. That, agrees the sponsor, is a very good question indeed. I think I can tell you exactly how to relax. You won't have to work at it very hard either, period. Listen, if you will, to 3 statements. First, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous does not demand that you believe in anything. Wow, that's as I was just saying, doesn't demand that you believe in anything. All of its 12 steps are but suggestions. Suggestions are just what I just said. It's what's worked for me. I've suggested it to other people. Second, to get sober and to stay sober. Stay sober is a big one. You don't have to swallow all of step 2 right now. So if you're, saying fuck off, Brantt, I get it. Looking back, I find that I took it piecemeal myself. Third, all you really need is a truly open mind. That's absolutely right. Just resign from the debating society and quit bothering yourself with such deep questions as whether it was the hen or the egg that came first. Again, I say, all you need is the open mind. Oh, you guys like that? That was amazing. Step 2, it's great. And we'll continue on that, right? I like reading from the book. And then why don't we talk about my any of you guys go to treatment, rehab? And what was that like for you guys? For myself, I my first one, I was 24 years old, and I got released from the Philadelphia Flyers from a guy named Bobby Clark. And he told me he was going to do it, and he did it. And then a guy named Paul Coffey, who was my idol growing up, called me and said, Knuckles, better check out the USA Today. Remember when people used to read the newspaper? And I was in there, and they said they released me. So I called the league, and some guy by the name of Dan Cronin was going to show up. And he was going to just said, we'll get your apartment packed or your condo packed, Brantt, but just get ready. We're going to LA. Okay, where are we going? A place called Oxnard, California. And there's a treatment center there called Steps. I'm like, okay, great. How long am I going for? He said, we're not sure, but probably around 30 days. I said, okay. So he comes in, I'm crying, I'm fucking getting my condo ready to go. I just got released from the league again, or for the first time, sorry. And then I go to LA, and we drive out to, on the PCH, we get out to Oxnard. And as I get in there, again, I've never been to an A meeting. I don't know any of this talk about big book AA, any of that kind of stuff, right? I thought AA was American Airlines. I thought that was a flight I was going on. No, it's the Rehab, bud. So as I walk in, and, they weigh and they do all that kind of stuff. And then they say, we're going to some, AA meeting. And I'm like, oh my God, got to get on a yellow bus. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm getting on the yellow bus. And we go down, we go to an AA meeting. And so that was my first experience at the AA meeting. But the treatment facility experience was so it was the trust factor for me. So they knew that I needed to stay longer than 30. I thought I didn't. And when it came time to 30 days, I was in a bit of a groove. I was working out and boxing, and I was, feeling way better about myself, but I thought I was ready to go at 30 days. And remember Dr. Dave walks in, and I said, well, I'm all packed up. I'm ready to go back to San Jose. I was a free agent at this point. He goes, you ain't going anywhere. What do you mean? He goes, no, you're not ready yet, Brantt. He goes, you still got some time. I said, well, how much time, Dave? Like, I've been here, 30 days, I've watched that movie 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. Isn't it, 30 days? He says, not for you. He goes, you're going to stay longer. And so go unpack your bags. So anyways, I go unpack my bags, and I stay in the treatment center for like 90 days. But the problem was with me, I work on such a trust system, even though maybe I didn't back then because I was just a liar. So I guess now I do. So I revert back to now. But anyways, when they told me it was going to be 30 and it ended up being 90, I was really angry. And so I bought a bag of cocaine the day that I got out. And because I had like a 38-hour drive back to Edmonton, Alberta. So I needed some coke to stay up. And so I did that. I bought a bag of coke from a guy that was in rehab. And then I left. But my first experience was one of anger, one of frustration, one of, I don't have a problem. I'm not, like the other guy that was sitting there that had a hole in his leg from shooting heroin. That's not me. Brantt, that ain't you. You still drive a nice vehicle, and you don't have a hole in your leg. You're not weighing 80 pounds from doing crack for 2 months and lost all your children to the courts. You ain't that bad, bud. You'll get through this. And lo and behold, I go back, I drive home with the bag of coke, and I get a call from my agent, and he said that the San Jose Sharks want to sign you to a 2-year deal. Excuse me. So we'll get into that story. Actually, it's pretty wild. But yeah. Anyways, so if you're off to rehab or you've just gotten out of treatment, try and have some faith that each day it's going to get better, and don't like struggle. Don't try and beat the system, because you can't. The system will find its way to you. You've been trying to beat it for a long time. And those that haven't went to rehab or treatment, wow, in a way, would have been nice not to go through all that stuff, but oh well, but I did. Okay. What else we got here, guys? Okay. Let's talk about Excuse me, I just had to have a little bit of a cough syrup there, or a candy, whatever that is for your throat. Sometimes I feel like my throat, I got a frog in it. Oh well. Okay, guys, ready? What page you on? Boom, Blue Book, back at her again. We're finishing off the chapter more about alcoholism or drug addiction. Page 31. We do not like to pronounce any individual as alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. Step over to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking or drug use. Try to drink or do drugs and stop abruptly. Good luck. Try it more than once. It will not take long for you to decide if you are honest with yourself about it. It may be worth a good case of the jitters or not sleeping for a day or two if you get a full knowledge of your condition. Wow, that's so true. Excuse me, guys. What else we got here? That was a bad cough. I take that back. Though there is no way of proving it, we believe that early in our drinking or drugging careers, most of us could have stopped drinking or drugging. But the difficulty is that few alcoholics or drug addicts ever have enough desire to stop while there is yet time. Yeah, we have heard of a few instances where people who showed definite signs of alcoholism or drug addiction were able to stop for a long period because of an overpowering desire to do so. Here is one, which we can get into that story next week. Okay. All right. You know how I usually like tell a story about, other side. The book. All these stories are from the book. The fat bastard twin or the look-alike, right? Like, I was just stating a fact of what this gentleman reminded me of in a movie. Like I said, I was big and out of shape too at one time, and I have nothing against that. I have compassion for that, actually. So, but anyways, all these stories are from the book behind me called Painkiller. So this isn't something that making up, but we'll talk about a story. So this story was in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. And what time was it? I don't know. It was in the middle of the summer. And again, I was having a big party over at the house, and it was a nice day. It was a really hot day, I'll remember. And obviously I was drinking some beers and I had some Jack Daniels, and I thought, you know what, everybody, there's like 8 of us or 10 of us. Let's jump in my Malibu ski boat and let's go for a wakeboard. That sounds like a really good idea. Okay, boys, you guys, bring the beers and the Jack Daniels. And so it was around noon, and I had this stereo on the Malibu boat, and I paid like, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 for it, and it was pumping. It had a couple 10-inch subwoofers. So we get down to the marina and everybody's getting their boats out, and it's a Saturday or Sunday. And I get in, and obviously I crank Living on a Prayer, to get things going, and crack the beer. And anyways, we take the boat out to to the middle of the lake. And I go, okay, well, I might as well go first. So I do another line of Coke, and I decide that it's a good idea to get naked. It's a good idea to get naked and go wakeboarding when you're high on blow and you've drank a case of beer. It's a really good idea on the weekend. So that's what I do. Take my clothes off. I jump in Sylvan Lake buck naked. I go to the wakeboard, and I start wakeboarding. I can't believe that I'm actually doing this. I'm actually talking about it, but I did it. So I'm wakeboarding naked, and all of a sudden I hear the cherries. Somebody's called the cops, because you can't be out on Sylvan Lake wakeboarding with no clothes on like I was. So anyways, they stop the boat. I basically dive into the water because I got to swim my ass off now to get to the boat, right? So I swim up to the boat, pull me up. So, a girl and one of my buddies pull me up onto the boat, and they instantly throw a towel at me, and these cops literally come right around the corner. They come up to the boat and they go, Brantt, we got to complain about the music on the boat. And I said, oh man, I'm sorry. I got to, be more careful with that. And they're like, any booze on the boat? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, how much? I said, a lot. I said, there's a lot of booze here. He goes, well, Brantt, you still live at 69 Ravenscraig Crescent in Sylvan Lake? I'm like, yeah, I still live there. He goes, well, you know what? Give us the beer cans and give us the booze. And what we'll do is we'll empty the the cans and the bottle, and we'll bring them back to your house. I said, okay. So I get back to my place. Obviously I'm higher than a kite. And all of a sudden my friend goes, Brantt, the cops are pulling up to the driveway. They're going to deliver your empties. I'm like, oh, awesome. So we have a whole bunch of people out in the hot tub partying. We've got a barbecue going. And I think it's a good idea now to walk up to the cop car as he pulls up and tell him to roll the window down. And as soon as the cop rolls the window down, I grab him by his face and give him a big kiss on his cheek and ask him if he'd like to come in for a hot tub. And he said, Brantt, no, we can't do that. It looks like a lot of fun, but we're just dropping off your empties. So the things that, I got away with, kissing a cop on the cheek, high on coke. Wow. Don't recommend it today. You'll get fucking billy clubbed. You'll get billy clubbed. Promise you. Anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome 7 days here. And again, keep each other unhammered for another week. I'm gonna stay unhammered for a week. I promise you guys that. That's a promise. And yeah, I've got a good few days ahead of me. I'm going with my son out to the lake and rented a cabin out at a place called Marie Lake, and that's where I'd go when I was a kid. So I'm going there this weekend with Kaner, our buds, and some friends, and we're gonna go relax, and I'm gonna swim and smoke a cigar and have a non-alcoholic, and maybe listen to some classic rock. I hope you guys have a great week, and we all stay unhammered. Another 7 days, and you guys write in, and I love reading your questions, and I like answering them and getting the feedback on the podcast. And if you see somebody struggling, reach your hand out and help them, please, this week. And I'll do the same. Okay, you guys take care, and we'll chat soon. Thanks.